Welcome to Tarot Parlor, beautiful spirits. Today we're having a look at one of the most mysterious and feared cards of tarot. It's a very mystical card. It ignites a lot of fear in many of us. And here before you we have three choices of that card. I'm directing you to go ahead and pick your version of that card today. Each one has a different picture and a different meaning and is going to resonate with you for something you need to know right now. So the first pile on the right looks very homey, very traditional, and very friendly, doesn't it? And it is accompanied by a spoon. The middle card looks very mysterious, and it is also accompanied by a spoon. And our third card over here on the left looks very scholarly, and it is accompanied by a thimble. So go ahead and take a look at these cards. Are you going to choose card 1 with this spoon, card 2 in the middle with this spoon, or card 3 with the thimble? Okay, so if you chose card 1, we have this beautiful little teaspoon that's usually used for measuring sugar. It's usually put in a sugar bowl. And it doesn't have any mysterious markings or anything on it. The hole at the top is usually a ribbon, a beautiful little ribbon or something like that. And it's just used to measure out sugar. So something so plain, so simple. Here is your card. You've got the devil. So all of these cards are a version of the devil, a very feared and mysterious card. Now here are your answers about your particular devil. She is a female, okay? So she has all the wiles of the feminine. She's here with her little drink, her little cigarette, her Valium, her Vice, her instant coffee, her ready cheese, her instant hot meals in the foil, and her spam, or spork as it says here, and her beautiful little red heels. So she's a very neat little devil, and she's got this gorgeous chocolate cake that she's very tempting with. And let's go ahead and take a look at your card that goes with it. Impulse. So your card, your meaning of the devil is impulse. So that might be what you're drawn to when this card comes up for you in a reading, is you may need to watch out for your impulses. And they could be very disguised as something as plain as a teaspoonful of sugar. Now, for those of you that chose the second card, let's reveal your spoon. Oh, look at there. You have the devil himself on your teaspoon. So he's right there. The meaning of him, he's not hiding. You know your impulse, your secret when it comes to the devil card. And here he is. So as you can see, this card is a traditional Rider-Waite card. We've got the devil with the Saturn, for like the Saturnalia or the other Saturn cults. We've got the male and the female. The devil, they're in chains to him, or is it to themselves? Question unanswered, right? And your card that goes with that is lust. So you possibly know full well what's going on when you're dishing out that spoon of sugar. And then finally, oh, look at this. We've got a couple little messages in there, right inside that little thimble. We've got bamboo, okay? So a lot of ancient teaspoons were made of wood in alchemy or in China and so on. So it's a very ancient symbol, this thimble. Haha, very ancient symbol, this thimble. So that's your thimble. And here is your card. Uh-oh, you've got the Dark Lord. And with that, we see two toads that are bound in chains to the Dark Lord. How did this happen? Look at that. It must have been a couple that was out there getting their lick, which means like their steal, licking the palm of your hand and grabbing it to go. And look what the Dark Lord has done to them. He's got them in chains and turned them into toads because they were out there getting their lick and they got caught. Using their thimble and they got caught. Let's see what their messages are. So this is from the female. And what does she have to say? This was on her tongue, and it looks like she was out there seeking self, being self-seeking. That was her lick, the reason behind her lick. And then his explanation on his tongue for the male toad is more. He wanted more. So there we go. These meanings could be very significant to you with how you relate to the Devil card. Now, let's get into some deeper explanations about this devil. Some things about him is he is the tempter. I've drawn a feather here because he will tickle your senses to get you to bite, to get you to go off your path and turn his direction. He gets your attention very subtly and with things that are disguised that seem harmless. When the devil appears upright, it's revealing chains that you've earned or that you've created. So see, they're bound to themselves. Maybe to each other, maybe just themselves. Because these are chains that they've created themselves. So these are material attachments, lust, impulse, getting that lick, addictions to people, substances, even validation. And the key to this card is the illusion that you've been trapped. You really can get yourself free. You're not trapped. This is something that you've placed around your neck. Look at them. They could walk out of here at any time. They could literally take that chain right off their head and just walk away. With these two, it looks a little more impending. However, again, they could slip right out of that chain. The collar is something that with the shape of their head, they could just slip right out of. Now, if you come across this card and it's reversed, it means that you're recognizing the illusion, okay? That you've already broken free or are breaking free from what has you bound, from those chains. You're slipping the necklace off. You're reclaiming your power, and you are choosing liberation over comfort, impulse, lust, or getting that lick. Sometimes with this card, you don't see the chains. They're invisible. But again, you aren't really bound to them. You can walk away anytime. So some other tempting things about the devil. Some other words that future toads, male and female toads, might be saying are obsession, envy, greed, lies, materialism, and any other temptation. Because this is the tempter. Now, throughout tarot, many people have made the claim that tarot itself is of the devil. Is it? Is it a tempter? Is it tempting you? Is knowledge tempting you? Or is the truth exposing the tempter? With the devil card, we have the number 1, the number 5, and the number 6, because 1 plus 5 equals 6. So we've got the self with number 1, the individual, that can be an aggressive nature in the struggle for originality. Number 5 can be conflict versus harmony, and adventure and freedom and curiosity, and the fight and struggle to have those. And then number 6 can be harmony, love, balance, service, and support. Some other cards that represent the devil from different decks, to give you some other images, would be the shadow side. So the shadow side is that part of ourselves that we've buried, that we fear, that we've hidden, that comes out to, that knows our deep nature, that can come out and tempt that side of us into back into addictions or back into things that we thought we've walked away from. Here's more of a traditional one where we put the tempter up on a pedestal and we think that the temptation itself, the one that's tempting us, has the power over us. A simple explanation right here of the devil card is restriction. And again, we've learned this restriction is a lie. In this card, we have 3 women that have gathered together, and the number 15 here represents toxic witches. So the devil card in the witches deck represents being cautious about those who take more than they can give. So sometimes it's about being chained to serving that people that don't give back. That's toxicity. So toxicity and toxic people. And then with the Hobbit Tarot, we've got the dragon that goes through and destroys the whole town. And at some point, this could have been avoidable, right? In this deck, we have the Tempter. He's sitting there and he's being tempted, or he's tempting. Or is it both? This is a fun one. I love this card because here we have like, I'm not going to pronounce his name right. Pan, or yeah, it's more of a Pan back here, which is often depicted with the devil, right? And he's playing his flute and tempting the woman. He's talked her out of her clothes. He's given her pomegranates, wisdom and knowledge. And he's tempting her with beauty, wisdom, knowledge, right? Or is it reversed and she's doing the tempting? And then here in this astrology deck, we have Capricornus. Look at that. So the Capricorn itself seems to be depicted as the devil. So the Capricorn is the sea goat, and it has the ability to navigate the material world and the emotional depth of our shadow self or our emotional self. Capricorns are seen as ambitious, persistent, and focused on their long-term goals. They have a talent for leadership, and sometimes that can be reversed on a person and they can become led. So those are some versions of the devil card. What do you think of your card? Comment below. Did you find anything tempting about your card? Here's a little guide to help you when you're dealing with temptation. So I've made this little scale here. And as you can see, it's often about recognizing the balance. When we're balanced with our temptations, that our temptations are not getting the better of us. It doesn't matter the name of them, but the temptations are not outweighing our self-control. Then we aren't being controlled by the devil, so to speak. The tempter hasn't done anything to put a chain around our neck. So if you can keep yourself balanced, where when that temptation comes in, you aren't giving into it to the point to where you lose self-control, then, and I'm not talking about to the point of I'll do this, but I'll stay functioning. I'll still be able to function. And the temptation is something you can never give up. You've got to be able to walk away from that temptation. If you can stay balanced to the point to where you can walk away from it, not tell yourself, I can walk away from this at any time. I'm not telling you how to be an alcoholic here. You know what I'm saying? Well, but I guess I am. I'm saying that's one of the lies that alcoholism tells us, is that we can keep our temptation, we can keep indulging in our temptation as long as we believe we can walk away from it at any time. But the whole point is that we really have to be able to walk away from it. Okay? To where the walking away is literally what we can live our life by. That literally this isn't ever present. The temptation isn't ever present in our life. Okay? So that's a good guide to help you out when you're working with the devil card. And remember your teaspoons, because it is just a teaspoon of sugar of temptation, a teaspoon of sugar of lust, a thimble of more of getting that lick, of seeking what you want instead of balancing that out and walking away from more and finding ourselves being content or satisfied with a balanced budget or with what we have until we're ready to grow into something else, instead of taking from others. Some people fight this card by trying to become the tempter themselves. They figure if they can control, then as being the tempter, doing all the tempting, like being the drug dealer, being the pimp, then they can be the ones that are in control, because they aren't going to, that's their way of not being in chains, because it allows them to have enough. It allows them to toy with others instead of focusing that they're being toyed with. And we already know that that's just one way of being a functional, dysfunctioning person. And that's not functioning. So we can't do that. It can get us there for a while, but it's not going to keep us balanced. We're going to find ourselves in pain to the chains that we allow ourselves to stay in. Okay, so that's the mystery of this deck. Of this card. I hope that it was able to give you some information and insight, and that it blessed you. So the next time you're tempted, go ahead and ask, what the devil? Recognize it, know what it is, and choose not to put on that chain.